This is going to be hilarious, actually. This is from Washington Post. We're going to talk about, and it's the headline. Okay, it's by Edward Cody, published January 30th in 2012, and this is wrote in Brussels, and it starts with European leaders adopted a groundbreaking new treaty Monday that binds them to imposing caps on deficits and government debts to combat the painful financial crisis that has sabotaged prosperity across the continent and left it slipping toward recession. Wow. So it's pretty. I said the word infuriating, that to look at all these European leaders standing there to take a picture and talk about something. It looks like they're helpless, but at the same time, like, what else can we do? And these are a bunch of educated, experienced. They're supposed to actually take care of the young and the lost generation. So,
well, they're supposed to take care of society in general, but it kind of feels like you're riding around in your expensive car, flying on vacations and getting all these nice things while everybody else is suffering. It kind of brings you back to earlier days, honestly, and I highly doubt that this is groundbreaking. I mean, they've been talking about it for a while, and it's not really bringing anything new to the table. It's just a piece of paper,
right? And it's interesting because I visited the website and I thought this was gonna be a big news, and after I read it, I was like, this is deja vu. Like when we were just talking about this, it was like, I think there's something like this, very similar, like happened like 2 months ago, when they said something about this is basically the Britain is against it and the Czech Republic is against it. But what else to talk about? This is like old news to me. This is like history. So there is not something. Not even groundbreaking. This is a little tiring.
A little tiring, a little sad. Boring. They're not doing anything to fix it. Like I just said, signing a piece of paper isn't going to change that. There's a huge debt. We talked about earlier, they're not looking inside themselves and thinking, what's wrong with us? We're wealthy, other people are poor. Am I?
Like I did several times.
Yes, but this is nothing new. And of course Britain doesn't want to sign this. They're making a lot of money. They don't want to put economic caps on anything. Czech Republic, they just have a strange political system. But this is all to the benefit of Germany, which is always to the benefit of Germany when it comes to Europe.
Serious.
And that's not the first time, I think, in the 20th century that's repeated itself, quite a bit, that whatever happens in Europe has been to the benefit of Germany and France as well, a little bit, especially, with them having the IMF and all that stuff there. So, or no, that's in Switzerland. What am I talking about? But I think it is good for France and Germany, but a lot of the poorer places like Spain and Portugal, what is that going to do for them? It's really not going to do anything. They're just kind of grasping at straws, hoping, if we sign this treaty, everything is going to change. But a piece of paper doesn't change anything. It's the actions of people that change things.
I saw a picture yesterday also, I think in Taipei Times, and there was how do you say, like a bum, homeless person lying, on the street, and this happened. This is very prevalent in Portugal, Ireland, Italy, and Greece. there's gonna be discipline. There should be discipline, and on these countries, but at the same time, they should also. I think this is probably also the controversy, because they want the countries like Germany, France, and perhaps the Britain to take care of them, because they've benefited the economic growth. But at the same time, they're like, this is your problem. So it's like kids fighting, you know? It's becoming very trivial for me. So
yeah, it's actually just become such old news at this point, you know, that these things are happening. Yes, they're happening. That's great. But
does that affect Canada, though?
It doesn't affect Canada at all. Canada and Australia both are doing really well. But it should be about what are we doing to solve it. I know this is supposed to be about how they're going to solve it. But I guarantee the majority of people looking at this aren't going to think, oh, that's going to solve the problem. Or if they think that, then they're in their own, you know, special universe. But we should be talking more about what's the problem, what's the solution, instead of spending time signing papers.
I've talked to manufacturers in China, and the owners, and they've actually talked about how this debt crisis is gonna affect the manufacturers, the industries. Where in 2008, it really affected the financial industry. So it's gonna be serious, and I'm pretty sure if this doesn't get solved, it's gonna affect Canada, Taiwan, and even China. So, do you have anything else to say? I mean, about the kids fighting?
Mom and Dad, don't. I think right now it's not affecting Canada. It's definitely a world problem. It's not something that we can just look at and say, oh, this is confined to Europe, we're fine. It's definitely a world problem. And as somebody, you know, who, if you're not in, you know, the upper middle class or the richer class of society, it's going to be a problem for you. You're going to know somebody. Everybody already knows somebody that doesn't have a job, can't get a job. You know, these things trickle down, and that's the reality of it, is that we're probably going to soon start to hear more stories like what we talked about earlier about people actually having problems, as opposed to this just general thing about, oh, we're signing this treaty, we're signing that treaty. People are going to stop caring about that and start caring about the real life stories behind that.
But isn't this how civilization is, though? I mean, there's always up and down, and it's always a fight between the wealthiest and the poorest. History repeats itself. So, yeah, we'll just do our best. I mean, I think we're doing quite well, just talking about the problems. Yeah.
It's better than not talking about them.
And not see like
right, it's just better than having a wall up and you don't want to see, you don't want to hear, you just want to wait until it happens. At least we can discuss it.
Right. Okay. Thank you.